Hello, everyone. My name is Pranav,
My name is Arnesh.
and in this video, we're going to be going over the C++ printing. Now, this is a new video series, so I want to welcome you to this video series on C++ programming. Okay, here we're going to be using the Xcode for IDE for programming. The main reason we're using this is because we know that most of our viewers are going to be college students or high school students, and a lot of the users are Mac users who need to use Xcode for their classes. So that's why we plan on using Xcode. If you're using Visual Studio Code or some online IDE like Replit, that's also fine. It's gonna work either way, of course. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a new Xcode project. And oh no, stop screen sharing. Let me get this back. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to say next, and I'm just going to call this video series. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. You can call this whatever you want. This is what the folder name is going to be. And then I'm going to save this under C++ series on my computer. And just like that, it has done everything that we need. We have our main file over here. Okay, let's get started.
All right, so let's start off with our first C++ program. And whenever you learn your first programming language, this is probably going to be your first program ever. We're going to make it simple and start off with our most usual Hello World program. So let's start off by including IOStream. And this is the library that we're going to use in most of our C++ programs, actually. This IOStream allows us to, for example, in this video, output things. It allows us to actually have all that functionality that we need. And IOStream is basically like input, output, stream. So we're going to be working a lot with those when we're using C++. So next thing we're gonna do is using namespace std. So basically what namespace std is basically the standard convention that allows for all the functionalities for cout, which we're gonna cover in this video, and cin, which we're gonna cover in a later video on user input. So whenever you create a C++ program, these first two lines are probably the most fundamental lines that you want to include when you're making a C++ program. So let's start off
I want to just add
with
something here.
yeah.
Here, this is a namespace. If you don't know what a namespace is, we'll explain that in a future video. So I just want to point that out. But namespaces are very important when you're trying to identify like when there's multiple functions and they have like similar names and you want to identify from which namespace you're exactly getting that function. You can use namespaces in that situation. That obviously probably won't make sense, but we will explain that in a future video.
Yeah. So after that, let's move on with int main. So every C++ program you're ever gonna make is gonna have a main function. The main function is where we're gonna have all the code running in our terminal. Now you can add as different functions on your own, but we'll cover that in a later video. Since the main purpose we want to have today is actually to print out hello world simply to our terminal. So we have int main. This is our function header we're going to use in main. And in order to print, we're going to use cout. So cout is our keyword here to print out any sort of text, any strings, which is basically text. So we're going to have cout and then less than sign. This is the way the syntax works in C++ whenever we want to print out something. So we have less than, and then in quotation marks, we have ourselves a text. So this would basically, in this case, print out hello world to the terminal. And we have quotation marks recalled because it's text or a string. And we'll cover strings later on in another video. But basically, when you have text, make sure you put in quotation marks. So this is basically all we need to have to actually print out hello world. So let's run our program.
Great explanation there. I just wanted to add something real quick. So this thing that we call like the less than is called a stream insertion operator. And basically what we do here is we take what's on the right side, which in this case is hello world, and we insert that into the stream. And then what ends up happening is when we run our program, the stuff from the stream is going to be outputted to, in this case, in this case, to our screen. So here, actually, we don't need a C out. In other instances, we can actually add like a file, for example, right? If we add like a file, like a certain file where we want to output our stuff, we can actually add the file there, and then the stuff that we have here is gonna go to that file. So obviously this is an insertion operator, so it's gonna be inserted. In this case, it's just gonna be outside here when we build our program. Just going to come to our terminal and it's going to say hello world.
So we can see that output, or yeah, there it is.
Okay. With that, let's go ahead and let's talk about a little bit more, like maybe let's just have some fun with printing. So let me go ahead and say I wanted to print out hello world, and then on another line, I wanted to print out I am here. Now, what's gonna occur here? What's gonna happen here is we're gonna first go to this first line, or the line number 5, and we're gonna print out hello world to a screen, and that's what happened over here. And then in our program, the next output statement is I am here. Where do you think I am here is going to output, Arnesh?
I think it's all going to be in the same line.
Why do you think that's the case?
So in that case, we would need to use \n, which is basically, it gives a new line in our print statement. So basically \n is a new line character, which allows us to print out something, then give us a new line, and then see out another set of text. But in the case of this, you need to have \n inside the quotation marks.
I see.
So after hello world in that case.
Okay, so what this is gonna do is it's basically gonna say hello world, and then it's gonna go to the next line, and then it's gonna say I'm here. Is that right?
Yes. So let us run our program.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, that works.
There we go. That is a solution.
But I don't want to use escape characters. I don't like escape characters. I have a personal hatred towards escape characters. What do I do then? Is there another solution for that?
Well, another way you can actually go about this is, instead of \n, you can use that less than sign and say end L, which kind of serves the same way as \n does. When you print out that text, it gives us a new line and then prints out that text. So basically you're using that stream insertion operator again, and then end L. So if you print it out again, we have our same output as we have with \n.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, I really don't like having 2 lines for just outputs. That's kind of stupid. So I want to add this all in one line. Is there a way to do that?
There sure is. Let's add another stream insertion operator. Basically in the same line, you have another stream insertion operator, and then have that same text. And then the output should be pretty much the same. So let us run it. That is cool. We solved the same problem in a more concise way.
Okay, that's very cool. Now, one thing that I wanted to explain here is what's going on, right? What's happening here? Why are we even allowed to have all of this in the same line? The reason why we're allowed to have all of this in the same line is because of the way the stream insertion operator works. It's gonna, at the end of the day, what we have is we're gonna come to the statement that's the cout statement, right? At the end of the day, that's where we're going. So we're gonna output, right? And so we can insert into our stream hello world, and then this end line, and then we can also insert I am here, and then we're going to periodically output hello world, and then next line, and then I am here. So it's literally the same thing, except we're having it instead of 2 lines in 1 line for making our code just overall better, better in the sense shorter. But obviously sometimes we don't want to just have everything, like for example, if we had like a super long string, we don't want to just, or like a super long print statement, we don't want to have it all in 1 line. We can obviously break for readability, but in this case, since it's just kind of a stupid, simple program, we don't have to worry about that. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So one thing to mention is that we can keep our code concise. And basically, what I mean by concise is keep it as short as possible without trying to use as much lines. But obviously, that shouldn't be a big problem in this case since we're simply printing out two things are here. Hello world, I am here. So it's really up to you how you want to go about it. And in order to print out simple things like these, but it's really up to you how you want to code it out yourself. So it's all up to you how you want to, how short you want to keep your code to be, how long you want your code to be. So
Yep.
all that freedom is up to you to decide.
With that, we are done with our output video. In the next video, we're going to be using this thing over here, and we'll be having fun with some user input. See you then.
Bye.